I'm used up, growing tired of knots, tangled up in problems, and not caring enough. Now I'm on a journey to find what's right, always telling the truth, but hiding all the lies. And don't go thinking I'm being myself. I just act this way around you, and there's someone else. This isn't where I wanna be. Let's look in the kitchen and the living room. Nothing to find but what's left from a really great time that wasn't any of mine. Running away feels like a storm. Let's throw our problems out the door today. Well, finding things clear to me. And don't go thinking I'm being myself. I got other things on my mind, not you or anyone else. This isn't where I wanna be. Whoa, make me see the things on the inside. 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 Don't go thinking I'm being myself. I just act this way around you, and to someone else. This isn't where I wanna be.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Hey, this is EAJ Man from Autopsy Live and the Skype Pirates. When I want to make it look like I don't give a shit about sports, I tune into Sports World Radio with Jeff Escow.
Jeff
Doing my time. Doing my time. Got myself a problem.
Live from San Diego, it's Sports World Radio. You've never heard a sports show like this. Oh, no, you haven't. blow me.
You got it.
Holy fucking shit.
What the hell is your major malfunction?
Can't believe that goddamn son of a bitch did that fucking crap.
Don't give me any of your shit.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. Those are your hosts, Jeff Escow and Sean Mann. Remember, those who can't play sports, talk about it. These two tell it like it is. Tune into Sports World Radio for the fastest hour of sports of your life. So here they are, the douchebags of sports themselves, Jeff Escow and Sean Mann.
Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to Sports World Radio. I'm the host, Jeff Escow. We got a lot to get to today. Let's get all the particulars out the way. Glad everybody could join us, sportsworldradio.com. We're also on Honest Answer Radio as well as Good and Plenty Radio. Follow us over there on Twitter at twitter.com/sportsworldradio, facebook.com/sportsworldradio. Want to get in touch with the show, 619-663-3715, 619-663-3715. Glad everybody could be with us today. What do you say we get the co-host in here, Sean Mann, the update man. What's going on, bud?
I'm doing good, Jeff. Welcome, everybody. It is Tuesday, May 6, 2014. Currently, the time is 5 after 6 p.m. on the East Coast, which makes it 5 after 3 p.m. on the West. Of course, if you live in the Central, figure that out for yourself. Weather right now is overcast. It's been kind of rainy today, but it's been 58 degrees. Pretty cool, pretty, nice and cool and calm. Typical spring weather. So we got a lot to get to today on Sports World Radio. Hello, Encyclopedia Man. Hello there, Jeff. Of course, the host of Sports World Radio. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Not bad at all. Just been busy today with reading the stories and a lot of stuff we have to get to.
Yeah, we got a lot to get to today, don't we? A lot to get to today, man. Tons of it to get to. Tons of it. Hey, Sean,
Yeah.
Sean, I need you to take it for a couple minutes. Something came up. I need you to take it. Just go with it.
Yeah, all right. Anyway, as Jeff has something has to take care of, I'll take over for just a bit. Our first story we're going to get to today with 6 minutes after 3 here on this Tuesday. We're going to start off the show with talking about Mark Jackson. As you all well know, today Mark Jackson was fired as NBA head coach of the Golden State Warriors, almost said Washington Wizards. And with him getting fired, I have to tell you, everybody, my reaction is shocked. Okay, I'm shocked about this move. First of all, he was there for 2 years. Why fire this guy? The guy did a very, very good job. He worked his heart out. He gave it his all. He did everything he could. And for that to happen was just bewildering, to say the least. I can't believe that he got fired. I can't believe that he got fired and he got let go after 2 really, really good years. I was talking with the Encyclopedia Man about this, and he was not very, you're right. They are idiots. Get ready for another 10 years that's right. And then you wonder, okay, well, who are the Warriors going to go after with? Did I see that this move was going to happen? No. I did not see it at all that he was going to be let go as head coach of the Golden State Warriors. Frank Vogel, I did, if the Pacers would have lost, but not with Mark Jackson. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It just doesn't make any sense. Because it's like, why? What's the reason for doing it? You got a young team here. You got a Golden State team that made it last year to the second round. Remember, they got past Denver, lost to San Antonio in 6 games. They took on a Clippers team and took them to 7 games. And I have to tell you, Encyclopedia Man and everybody listening, and it just does not make any sense. It's ridiculous. It's confusing. It's bewildering. And I have no idea what is going on there over by San Francisco and Golden State.
They're a bunch of freaking morons. That's what's going on over there.
Welcome back, the host of Sports World Radio, Jeff Escow. And yeah, Jeff, I saw that today on my phone, and I was like going, that's ridiculous. So now here's what I believe is going to happen. Mark Jackson fired. He'll go right back to joining Mike Breen and Jeff Van Gundy in the broadcast booth. That's what will happen until he finds another
No, I don't
possibility.
think so. I think he's going to find a coaching job right away. I don't think he's going back to broadcasting.
I don't know. Hard to say. He did enjoy doing games with Mike Breen and Jeff Van Gundy.
I think he's going to go get a coaching gig.
And could that mean Los Angeles?
Well, he lives in L.A. Come on, he lives in L.A.
Yeah, could it mean that he just gets let go and then he goes right to L.A. because the Lakers are going to be looking at him as a possibility? Maybe the Knicks will look at him as a possibility. Remember, the Knicks haven't found a coach yet.
Well, they're in major negotiations with Steve Kerr right now, but now with this job opening up, Steve Kerr has a relationship with the owner and the president of the Golden State Warriors. And he lives in San Diego, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and Jeff, the reason why I bring up the Knicks, okay, is because when we think about it, he was a player for the Knicks. You remember him well because you're the big New York Knicks fan. He was there until, I believe it was 92 or 93. It was like the early 90s. He played for the Clippers for a year, and then the Indiana Pacers came in and got him in the
I don't think he'd be
season.
I don't think he'd be a good fit in New York with Phil Jackson. That's the problem right there.
Yeah, because Phil Jackson, you have a good point, is looking for somebody who knows the triangle offense really well.
Yeah, and I happen to agree with Josh a little bit about this because Josh is Steve Kerr. Dumb choice. As a coach, just because you're a GM before doesn't mean crap when it comes to coaching. I happen to agree. The guy's never coached before in his life. Never. And you want to give him a job? Just because he's a GM, don't make him a freaking coach. And correct me if I'm wrong, but being a GM and going to be a coach, isn't that a step down?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a step down, right?
Yeah, it is. And I have to say, though, Jeff, that, the Warriors, like Encyclopedia Man said, it would probably be like 10 years, 10 years until the Warriors get back to respectability. And, of course, the long championship drought continues for Golden State. They have not won an NBA championship since 1975.
Okay, why do you say 10 years?
That's what the Encyclopedia Man
Why
says.
do you? Okay, so Josh, why do you say 10 years? They have every single player on the contract for next year. Lee's there, Curry's there, Thompson's there. They're all there. The only thing that's changed is the coach. So why do you say 10 years?
Yeah.
That's a stupid remark. Besides, what have they done? Gotten into the playoffs into the first round? That's about it, haven't they?
Yeah.
So they're not really a good team yet either. But I don't think that firing Mark Jackson is going to bring them back 10 years. I don't see that happening. What I do see happening is at the end of Curry's contract and at the end of all these guys' contract, why should I sign back with you guys? You didn't ask what I want. You didn't ask my opinion, and you fired one of the best coaches, in my opinion. You fired him. So why should I come and play for you? Not now, but maybe in 3-4 years it might happen. All they lost was a coach. They didn't lose any players yet. Players are still there.
Yeah,
Hey, Josh, just because the organization is a joke doesn't mean them firing Mark Jackson pushed them back 10 years. The players are still there. The players are the one that play the game, not Mark Jackson. Besides, hold on a second, Sean. Besides, Mark Jackson doesn't even coach the practices. Doesn't even like to practice.
Encyclopedia Man, I have to disagree with you thinking it'll be 10 years. The Warriors are still a young team. They'll find another coach, and they very well could be a very, very tough again in the Western Conference next year. I am disappointed, however, with the Warriors ownership for making this move because, look, there is no excuse for what this guy did. Jackson turned that whole team around. They finally made the playoff appearances. Remember, last year they had been on a little bit of a drought because in 06, 07, when Don Nelson was there, they went 42-40. 42-40. They were the A seed. They shocked the world by knocking out the Dallas Mavericks in 6 games before they lost to Utah in 5. Then they went on a drought. And then guess who came in there? Jackson did. He turned the team around. And then the Warriors were really tough to beat. So I have to say that it won't be a long time. I have to agree with Jeff on that and disagree with you there, Encyclopedia Man, because they still got their whole team.
Okay, I'm looking at an article right now. Jackson clashed constantly with management and struggled to manage his coaching staff during his Warriors tenure. Jackson's lack of interest in game preparation and reluctance to practice, despite a mostly young and gifted roster, played a part in management reluctance to commit long-term to him. That's a problem. That's a problem. If your head coach lacks interest in game preparation and reluctance to practice, that's a problem.
Yeah, that is a problem.
So
indeed.
don't look at it that the Warriors just put the organization back 10 years. That's a problem. If your head coach has lack of interest in game preparation and reluctance to practice, then maybe he shouldn't be coaching in the freaking league in the first place.
We'll talk more about this story after commercial break.
Sports World Radio.
Storms move fast, so we use the best technology. That includes Bosch Icon wiper blades.
They're beam blades with memory tension springs and an aerodynamic design,
which means they fit the curve of the windshield. Bosch Icon wiper blades wiped our windshield clean and outlasted any other blade we've used. In my opinion, the Bosch Icon wiper blades are the best blades out there. Bosch Icon wiper blades, how storm chasers clear the way.
Did you know that just 30 minutes a day of physical activity can improve your health and decrease your risk of heart disease? For every hour of regular, vigorous exercise, you gain 2 hours of life expectancy. So start walking for yourself and for your heart. Start walking with your family. You'll feel better. Start walking in your community. You'll lead happier and healthier lives. Start walking. Start something. Join the movement today. For more information on the American Heart Association's START program, visit startwalkingnow.org and start walking. Start something.
What kind of person gets to work in the sunshine instead of an office? This kind of person. I am the new way to work. I do have an office. I'm just not chained to it. It's a Regis office at one of the nicest addresses in the city. I don't have a lease, so I don't have to budget for stuff like phones, IT guys, and artwork for the lobby. Instead, I pay one low monthly rate that gives me a beautiful lobby that impresses my clients, a friendly receptionist, a fully furnished office, a place to meet, and a place to brainstorm with my fellow New Way to Workers. We wonder why more people don't realize that the new way to work is the best way to work. I come here because I want to, not because I have to. I am the new way to work, and I'd like you to join me.
Start now and get 1 month free. Call 1-800-OFFICES or visit regis.com/TV.
Hey everybody, this is Sky. And when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
World Radio. I'm host Jeff Escow. Sean Mann sitting beside me like he does each and every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. on the East, 3 p.m. on the West. And if you live in Essential,
go figure it out for yourself.
What?
I had to.
Yeah. Did I catch you drinking a Mountain Dew?
No, I don't have a Mountain Dew with me.
What do you got today?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Well, maybe the next break. I just wanted to stay focused on what we're doing here.
Nothing? You got nothing?
18 minutes past the hour on this Tuesday, 6, 2014. Yes, the big news, of course, coming today, Mark Jackson out as coach of the Warriors for 3 years. So now we'll see what happens with Mark Jackson, where he will end up. And, Jeff, I will now agree with you that the big objective now is to make sure that Jackson could just talk with the Lakers and say, I'd like to be your coach, which I could see happening. And I think Kobe
Well,
Bryant.
I have a problem with that now, because if I'm the owners and the GMs of these teams and I'm reading articles, I need to talk to this guy and understand why you were so reluctant into practice and preparation. What's up with that? Why are you letting your because he let his assistant coaches run all the practices. He had Darren Ehrman build the top 5 defense, and then they fired his ass.
Yeah.
Okay, he's let several assistant coaches go. Mark Jackson's not an easy guy to get along with as a coach. As a commentator, he's probably a piece of cake, but as a coach, no.
Yeah, and I think, well, you're right. He will find another coaching job. But just in case, if he does not, my belief is that he'll go back to the broadcast booth if he doesn't find something immediately.
Well, he doesn't have to, because they still owe him $2.5 million.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to. And like I said, he had a contract till next year, right? He had a contract till next year, right?
Yes.
They fired him anyway, didn't they?
Yeah, and
So
here's
what the hell? Hold on. What the hell does a contract do if you still can get fired? Absolutely nothing.
Encyclopedia Man says this, Jeff, their organization are as inept as the Nuggets are. They are the modern-day mid-2000s Denver Nuggets. That's what the Encyclopedia Man says of the Warriors.
Well, I hate to tell you something, but when they hired Mark Jackson, oh, they're smart, they're great. What, they fire Mark Jackson, all of a sudden they got stupid?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the Nuggets, who was the head coach during the mid-2000s?
During the mid-2000s, that was George Karl.
They weren't inept back then either, so I don't know what this schmuck is talking about.
Of course, the Nuggets, back in those days, they needed George Karl because he was the guy that turned the Nuggets around, led them to the Western Conference Finals in 2009, and of course, he replaced Jeff Bezdelik, who was the coach of the Nuggets. Didn't have a very good coaching record, although he ended the playoff drought for Denver by getting them to the playoffs in 2000.
Hey, Josh. Hey, Josh, why don't you stick to something you know, wrestling, instead of trying to stick to something you know like basketball, because you don't know anything about basketball. You got no clue what you're talking about.
Well, here's what he says. Not doing anything in the playoffs. You're a schmuck, Jeff.
Who?
You. That's what he's calling you.
What do you mean not doing anything in the playoffs? What are you talking about? What are you talking about there, Josh? He says Stephen Curry is the next Carmelo Anthony. Hey, Josh, just stick to wrestling because that's what you know best. You don't know anything about basketball, so just stick to wrestling because that's what you know best. You can't tell me that these teams all of a sudden got stupid or the coaches all of a sudden can't coach. What the hell's the matter with you? Like last night, everybody was here. What's Scotty Brooks doing? They had a bad game. Relax.
And then he says, or whatever. That's your opinion, Jeff.
Well, you know something? I got the microphone, so guess what? My opinion is the only one anybody gets to hear today. Same thing with Sean. That's what they come here for. They don't come here to hear. They don't come here to read asinine remarks like that. They don't. Well, maybe you should study basketball a little bit more, because I've been studying it for 48 years. You got a long way to go on me, buddy. You got a long way to go on me. I've been studying it for 48 years. Okay? You've only been studying it for 20. You got a long way to go before you catch me.
I'm only 27. I still have a long way to go,
That's
too.
right. Before you catch me, buddy. Don't forget that.
The next story we get to as we get away from Mark Jackson, we stay in the NBA. Congratulations, an MVP has been announced. Kevin Durant is the MVP of the NBA. What do you think?
About time he got it.
Like yesterday's show, LeBron James made a very good point saying that he deserves.
Well, he deserved it last year as far as I was concerned.
Yeah.
He deserved it last year as far as I was concerned. James came in second. You know who came in third, right?
No, I did not find out who came in third.
Blake.
Yep.
Blake from the Clippers came in third in the voting. He deserves it, man.
Durant is a good basketball player, and the Thunder are doing very, very well. Well, not very well because they got embarrassed yesterday. But, yeah, he deserves it, and we'll see how this series goes against the Clippers if he can play like a very good MVP would play.
Well, he didn't play it like last night. And I have a problem with Russell Westbrook. I got a serious problem with him. Mm-hmm. Okay? He's a ball hog. Okay? And he's got an attitude. Did you see him go sit at the end of the bench last night during a timeout and not be bothered with the team? Did you see that?
I did not see it, but I saw the highlights of it when he was not very happy.
Things aren't going my way. I'm going to take my ball and go home. What a dick. And if I was the head coach, I would have put his ass on the bench and not played him for the rest of the game for a move like that. But
Doesn't
Scotty
that remind us a little bit of Des Bryant after they blew the game against Green Bay when he walked off the field all angry?
Yeah,
and
but Scotty Brooks doesn't have the balls to do it.
Yeah.
Scotty Brooks doesn't have the balls to do it. He should have sat him for the rest of the game. And so don't you pull a move like that. It's not about you. It's about the team. Sit. Okay? Russell Westbrook is a selfish son of a bitch.
It reminded me a little bit of Kenyon Martin. Kenyon Martin was suspended in 2006 when the Nuggets played the Clippers, and he wasn't showing very good sportsmanship, and so the Nuggets made the decision to suspend him the rest of the playoff series, and of course that was a learning experience for him because then he came back stronger the next year in 2007.
Look at these.
There are players that act like that and whine, complain, and bicker and gripe and stuff like that, and coaches don't want to hear about it. Otherwise, if not, the coach will say, "You're going to act like that, I won't play you at all. You can just sit from the bench."
That's what they should have done. That's what they should have done.
And I know, Jeff, that would be the same with you. If you were a coach, you'd say, "Look, you're out of line. You're going to act like that. You just sit on the bench and you just watch from there."
That's it. You're not playing for the rest of the game. Sit right there. And if you go into the locker room, you might as well just forget about playing the next game.
Yeah, learn your lesson. Learn
Because I'm
the
not
difference
exactly right. I'm not putting up with that crap. That's bull. And he shouldn't be starting the next game either.
No.
Because that's bull.
For Kevin Durant, since he got the MVP, he got 119 first-place votes, and you're right, he deserves it. Congrats to him.
He should have got it last year for Jiminy Cricket sakes.
Yeah.
You know? That play last night where Durant threw Westbrook the ball, and then there was an open guy standing all by himself for a three-pointer, and Westbrook decided to dribble back towards Garnett and then heave up a three-pointer. What a ball hog you are. Okay? You're not the only person on the freaking team for Jiminy Curry Sykes, and you're not the best person on the team either. And why he's the point guard, I got no freaking clue. He should be coming off the bench. Just fix his ass. I can't stand that guy. I can't stand that guy, Russell Westbrook. When he got hurt, I was kind of happy.
Well, the thing with Russell.
Because personally, I think they're better. Personally, I think they're better off without him.
Well, with Westbrook, he just had to change his attitude and change the way he is, and then maybe we'll have a different opinion about him. Here's what Paul Pierce says here as we get to the next NBA story at 27 minutes past the hour, Jeff. LeBron, the dislike not personal. For the 26th time, Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett will square off with LeBron James in a playoff game when the Brooklyn Nets open their second-round series against the Heat on Tuesday night.
Okay, why is everybody talking about it's Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett hooking up with LeBron James? It's not. It's the freaking Miami Heat playing the Brooklyn Nets. That's what it is.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
That's what it is. It's a playoff series. Everybody's making too much out
Exactly.
of it. Here's what Paul Pierce says. He goes, quote, "I think that is a big part of my success, period. I am not intimidated by nobody in the league. There are always going to be great players, and there's always going to be challenges. That is one of my greatest strengths. I'm not afraid to face challenges or any matchup in the league.
It's not Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. It's Brooklyn Nets versus freaking Miami Heat. That's what it is. Stop freaking making it out to be something that it's not.
Yeah, you got to realize, take it as a playoff. It's a playoff series. It's semifinals. Now, sure, that these three players, Pierce and Garnett, have had their experience before against LeBron James from past playoff meetings, but it's entirely new because they both went to Brooklyn.
Right.
Miami still has the big three there in Miami, but you have to realize it's different now since Pierce and Garnett went to Brooklyn because it's new players, and of course Jason Kidd is the coach of the team.
You know, Jason Kidd was the very first rookie head coach to win a seventh game in a seventh game series.
Yeah, and I watched that game too, and it's amazing that he was able to win a playoff series, and of course Paul Pierce, of course, was able to save the team and block the shot.
Where the hell has Roy Hibbert been, man? That guy's non-existent, ain't he?
Yeah.
I told you. What did I tell you yesterday? What did I tell you yesterday before the game started?
That Roy Hibbert has to be a factor, otherwise, if not, he'll be in trouble.
Well, he looked like he was He looked like that was his very first basketball game he's ever played last night. That's what that looked like.
Yeah.
That was freaking unbelievable. Hey, we're going to run to a quick commercial break. You're listening to Sports World Radio right here on SportsWorldRadio.com.
Sports World Radio.
Welcome to the Man Manual. Man comes with a multifunctional casing known as skin. It is remarkable. Warning, standard body wash can cause damage to man's skin. Maintain it properly with Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. It cleans man and protects skin from dryness. This will keep man's skin remarkable, even under extreme testing. Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. Skin care built in. Also, freshen man's exterior with new Aqua Impact Body Wash.
Why does consultant Jerry Howell stay at La Quinta?
Can you come back tomorrow?
Because only with La Quinta can Jerry instant hold the room tonight using just his phone number. And then power down for tomorrow on his pillow top bed. And when Jerry's refreshed, you know what he does?
We need ideas, people. Think. Synergistic integration. Genius.
He thinks outside the box.
I'm going for it. No.
La Quinta Inns and Suites take care of you so you can take care of business. Instant hold your next stay on your smartphone at LQ.com.
La Quinta.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Sports World Radio right here on SportsWorldRadio.com. Glad everybody could be with us today. If you want to come and hang out with us in the chat room, head on over to Spreaker.com. That's where we're hanging out. Free account if you don't have one. Sports World Radio after you sign up. And come on over and hang out in the chat room. Want to get in touch with the show? 619-663-3715. 619-663-3715. Is the number to get in touch with us. If you have Skype, head on over to SportsWorldRadio.com. Click the little red icon that says Call Now on the left-hand side of the page, and you'll be directed right to the show for Skype users only. With all that, what do you say? Hey, where's Sean Mann, the update man?
I'm doing well, Jeff,
there
and welcome,
is.
everybody. 33 minutes past the hour, May 6, 2014. We continue with the story between the Nets and the Heat. Pierce said this. He goes, I mean, it's going to be a dislike there, Pierce continued. That's nothing that has carried over off the court. I think everything, the dislike for me, LeBron or Miami or Cleveland, it's all based on what we were both chasing, and that is about it. How about this? This is the 5th time that Pierce and Garnett will face James in 7 postseasons. James has a record of 12-13 in the head-to-head matchups with Pierce and Garnett. After of course, the Heat beat the Celtics in 7 games in the 2012 Eastern Conference Finals. Heat star Dwayne Wade said he thought, quote, we buried them with that postseason victory. Boston eventually went into a rebuilding phase, and of course, remember, Pierce and Garnett, they went to Brooklyn last summer to provide the Nets with the experience and the leadership necessary to win in the postseason. And here they are facing the Heat again. And I know, Jeff, you're probably saying you think the media is kind of blowing this out of proportion. Okay, it's Pierce and Garnett against James, and this is the another meeting in the playoffs, the 5th time for 7 postseasons. What do you think?
Well, I hate to tell you and disappoint you. It's not Pierce and Garnett against James. It's the Nets against the Heat. Knock the shit off already. I'm getting tired of it, people. Holy freaking Toledo, Batman.
Yeah, and I think they're just making way too much about it. Hey, Frank, welcome, buddy.
That's what the press does, man. That's what the press does. I get kind of tired of it. I turn them off sometimes because I get tired of it because they make assumptions and wrong most of the time, and it really pisses me off.
I'll tell you one thing though. I know how you are about ifs, Jeff, but if the Nets take Game 1 tonight and steal home court, yes, the Heat should definitely be concerned about that because, I think they do.
No.
All 4 of the meetings in the season
So
were
what?
close.
That's got absolutely
season
nothing to do with it. Nothing. This is a different animal, okay? Even if Miami loses the first game, doesn't freaking matter. It doesn't matter. Because if I remember correctly, last year's playoffs, when they had a week off, first game, they lost. And came back and won the series. So it doesn't matter. For all you people, if the Nets win the first game, Heat's in trouble. No, they're not. And this is coming from somebody who hates the Heat. No, it's not. It doesn't matter.
Well, here you know exactly what'll happen. Like if Miami loses the first game or gets behind this series, the media is going to blow it out of proportion. They're going to be saying, could this be the end of the big 3 at Miami?
Well, that I'm okay with.
Could LeBron be gone after this year? Could the Heat lose either Bosh or Wade? That's what's going to end up happening because then the speculation's going to happen.
That I'm okay with. But if they start to say, oh, the Heat lost the first game, they lose their home court advantage, oh, they're in trouble. Bull! Because as soon as they win the second game, oh, that's the Heat we know and love. Oh, it looks like they're back to the same old way. The press takes either side every freaking day. They don't know which side to stick to.
If the Nets win these first 2 of Miami's, Jim, that's concerning.
I don't even think so. Now, if the Nets go up 3 games, now the Heat have a problem. Because personally, and I hate the Heat, I am not a Heat fan, but personally, when the Heat's back are against the wall is when they play their best basketball.
Yeah.
It's when they play their it's like the old Lakers. You flip the switch on, you flip the switch off. Miami can do that too now. So I don't want to hear if Miami's down 3-1 or 3-0, Miami's got a problem. If Miami's down 0-2, if Miami loses the first 2 games in Miami and goes to Brooklyn down 2 games, I don't see a problem Miami taking 2 games in freaking New Jersey. In Brooklyn.
In the chat room, here's what they said. Sure, Jeff. And that's what the Encyclopedia Man says. And Frank goes, Jeff, if I would be scared going into Brooklyn down 0-2. That's
You,
what Frank
hey
tells
Frank,
you.
hey Frank, you'd be scared going into Brooklyn. Period. Okay. Let alone being down 0-2. Your personal self, you'd be afraid to go to Brooklyn anyway. So don't give me none of that. I don't think the Heat would be afraid. I think they come out if they go into you know when I think of ifs.
Yes.
Okay? If they happen to go in back to Brooklyn down 2 games, Miami, I don't see why they can't win. Hey, Frank, correct me if I'm wrong, but being on the road in the NBA playoffs this year has been pretty damn good, hasn't it?
Well, here's what he says. He goes, Jeff, I'm fit and tough. I can take Brooklyn.
No, I don't think he can.
Ooh.
I don't think he
Wait till
can,
comes
really,
in the
buddy.
second hour. Wow.
I don't think he can. I'm not a Heat fan. I'm just telling you it from a neutral's point of view. I am totally neutral in this. In fact, I hate the freaking Heat. I am not a Heat fan. I am a Heat despiser. And I'm still telling you this. What does that say to you?
Not according to the encyclopedia man. He goes, look, he says, okay, Jeff, it sounds like you're defending the Heat.
I'm not defending the Heat. I'm just telling you how I feel.
Not to mention the overtime games. That's what Frank said to you.
Jeff, I'm from Chicago. Chicagoans are tougher. Get the flock out of here, will you?
I'd say New Yorkers are tougher
Yeah,
there,
I think
Frank.
so, too. I think so, too. New Yorkers are a lot tougher than Chicagoans. And just because I haven't lived in New York in 20-plus years doesn't mean a hill of beans. I'll still take you down with a body slam, you rat bastard.
But, again, this is going to be a great series. Now, for the other series in the Eastern Conference semifinals, last night the Washington Wizards, as you pointed out, Jeff, just absolutely took Indiana out of the game. Pacers were so tired in the game. The Wizards had some time off, and that's what happens when you play a 7-game series and you only get 1 day off. Wizards look like a team that has surprised a lot of people. They beat a Bulls
Okay,
team
so with
by-
that, so Sean, with that analogy right there,
Yeah.
the Nets should lose tonight.
Possibly. It depends on how well they look tonight.
Correct? With that analogy right there, Nets should lose because Miami's been off for a week?
Miami's been off since like
A week.
Wednesday of last week or Monday of last
Yeah, a week.
Because the series was a sweep.
A week. So, and last year, when they were off a week, they lost their first game. And what happened? Came back and won the series. It happened over and over again in the next series. And it happened almost every series. They lost their first game. What happened? Oh, that's right. They won, dumbasses.
Well, Frank, you bring up a good point. I can't wait to bring you in for the second hour to discuss more about this. Indiana should be scared. Yeah, absolutely. The way the Pacers are playing, they were lucky to get past Atlanta in the first round, and they do not look good at all. They didn't end the season well.
Where the hell was
the Pacers do not look well at all, and that's why I went with the Wizards to take the series in 6 games.
Where the hell is Roy Hibbert? What is he playing? High school ball?
I think so.
Way he looked last night looked like he's playing in his very first basketball game ever.
Encyclopedia Man says the Pacers were beyond overrated, and I told you this before the playoffs.
Yeah, I know. They wish they had the number 2 seed because that's the easier route.
And here's another thing to look at, too, another factor, too. Larry Bird, the president of the Pacers, has been just disappointed at times with their play. And like I said, they were lucky to have the number 1 seed, because if they did have number 2, you don't even know what would have happened if they would have number 2 seed. They could have been upset by the number 7 seed, but against the Bobcats. And so, yeah, there is a lot of concern right now in Indiana, and they have to win this. If the Pacers lose Game 2, things are not looking pretty going back to the nation's capital for the Pacers.
Well, Frank, if you were listening to the show yesterday, I said that yesterday. There's no way that the Pacers can handle Beal and Ball and even the center and Nene and Garnett, the center. There's no way. And it proved last night. Hibbert was nowhere to be found, man.
And upsets could happen because I did pick the Bulls in the opening round to defeat the Wizards, and the Wizards beat the Bulls in 5 games, and now they just take home court away from Indiana. So the Wizards are making a lot of noise right now, and they're a team that nobody's giving them the chance, but I'm sure Randy Whitman is saying, I like the role of being the underdog.
Randy Whitman's doing a hell of a job with that freaking Washington team, man.
Yeah, 44-38, and nobody really has given them a chance, so they're like saying, let's surprise a lot of people.
And
let's
they're in the
play
second round of the
play as
playoffs.
the underdog.
And they're in the second round of the playoffs. You know what? They're better than the Bulls. Oops, I said it, didn't I?
Encyclopedia man, I can say whatever I want about your Bulls. They lost in 5 games, and I have yet to see you put on any Knicks gear, so stop it.
They lost to a team that they shouldn't have lost to.
Yeah, and this comes from a man who says that the Bulls will get to the NBA Finals, and I was a witness to that.
Yeah. That was a great discovery there, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes, Frank, I do remember when Randy Whitman was coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers. I remember that. It was like the late 90s. He took over, I think, for Mike Fratello.
Randy Whitman.
Yeah, and, of course, in the Western Conference semifinals last night, Jeff, you talk about Russell Westbrook. How happy are the Clippers? They go in there and defeat the Thunder and just walked the court and thumped them last night.
On 1 day's rest.
Yeah.
Both of them had only 1 day rest, right?
Yeah, we'll talk more about that after the update, right?
Yeah, let's go to our first update. This update is brought to you by KeuregCoffeeMachines.com. For all your Keurig Coffee Machine products, head on over to KeuregCoffeeMachines.com. Looking for some tea? Looking for a coffee? Looking for a coffee machine? Head on over to KeuregCoffeeMachines.com. Brewing perfection, 1 cup at a time. That's KeuregCoffeeMachines.com. Take it away, Sean Mann, with the first update of the day.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, everybody. 45 minutes past the hour. It's May 6, 2014. We're going to start in the NHL. Last night in hockey, the Pittsburgh Penguins, they defeat the Rangers in a shutout 2-0, and they lead the series 2-1 in the best of 7. Game 4 will be on Wednesday night. Also last night, the Los Angeles Kings over the Mighty Ducks by a score of 3-1. The Kings have a 2-0 lead in that series. For tonight's games in the National Hockey League, we've got Game 3 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals, actually semifinals. The Bruins at the Canadiens. This series is evened at 1 game apiece. In Minneapolis, Minnesota, the Blackhawks will play the Wild, and the Blackhawks lead that series 2-0. The Bruins-Canadiens game can be seen on the NBC Sports Network, and the Blackhawks and the Wild can be seen on CNBC. In the NBA, there was last night the semifinals began, and Game 1 goes to the Wizards in the Eastern Conference semifinals, 102-96 over the Pacers. Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals, the Clippers over the Thunder, 122-105. Tonight's games in the NBA, here's what we got. Game 1 tipping off in 14 minutes on TNT. It'll be the Nets at the Heat. And then Western Conference semifinals, it'll be the Trailblazers at the Spurs. So those are the games that we have for the NBA. In Major League Baseball, we got a lot of games tonight. 15 games scheduled for tonight. We'll start in the American League. Here's what we got. Got the Twins at the Indians, the Astros at the Tigers, Reds at the Red Sox, interleague play, Orioles at the Rays, Yankees at the Angels, and the Mariners taking on the Athletics. We move over to the National League. Here are the games. The Dodgers at the Nationals, Blue Jays at the Phillies, Giants at the Pirates, Cardinals at the Braves, Mets at the Marlins. Interleague play, the Windy City Series, it'll be the White Sox at the Cubs, Diamondbacks at the Brewers. Interleague play, Rangers at the Rockies, and Royals at the Padres. We will be back after this commercial break.
Every parent wants the safest and healthiest products for their family. That's why I created The Honest Company. I was just a concerned mom with a crazy dream. A wish that there was a company that I could rely on that did all of the hard work for me. I'm Jessica Alba, and The Honest Company was my dream.
LegalZoom has helped 1 million businesses successfully get started, including Jessica's. Launch your dream at LegalZoom today. Call us. We're here to help.
I had PTSD. Once I was back from Iraq, I was distant from everybody in my family.
We had a reunion of our unit, and you'd hear these spouses say, "Is your husband doing that? My husband's doing that too. I thought it was just us." And really understanding that, hey, this is a common experience.
I learned more to listen to what he was saying, and that made it easier for me to understand where his pain was coming from.
Warriors should know that resources are available. Learn more at realwarriors.net.
Confusion ever someone or have sudden you trouble had speaking, understanding?
Understanding trouble? Have you sudden have or speaking someone ever confusion?
Have you ever had sudden confusion, trouble speaking, or understanding someone?
It could be one of the 5 signs of stroke.
Sudden weakness or numbness of the face, arm, or leg.
Sudden trouble with vision in one or both eyes.
Suddenly having trouble walking or difficulty with balance.
Or a sudden intense headache that comes out of nowhere.
If you or someone you know has any of these symptoms, don't wait. Call 911 immediately. You could make a difference in someone's life, someone you love, maybe even your own.
It's late until, wait, don't too.
Don't wait until it's too late. Time lost is brain lost.
Find out more at powertoendstroke.org. Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Hey everybody, this is Sky. And when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Welcome back to Sports World Radio. Thank you, everybody, for being here with us. We do this each and every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. in the East, 3 p.m. in the West. And if you live in the Central,
Frank, Encyclopedia Man, Nick, all you people who live in the Central, figure it out for yourself. If you can't, you're going to need some help big time.
you're calling them out now, aren't you? You're just naming them now, aren't you?
I'm only kidding with them.
No, you're not.
Of course I am. We're doing it. We're only ball busting. What the heck?
That's right.
Anyway, yeah, last night in the NBA, of course, as you know, Game 1 goes to the Clippers, and they looked outstanding. How about Chris Paul last night, Jeff? He went 12 for 14 in the game. He was just he was lighting it up.
What did he hit? 8 3-pointers?
Yeah, 32 points he had last night. Westbrook, as you talked about, you're disappointed with his attitude. He had 29 points to lead the OKC Thunder. So now, looking down the road, Jeff, the Clippers have stolen home court advantage in Game 2. Of course, we'll be back in OKC. Thunder have to win Game 2, not only because I'm going for them and picking them because of the NBA elimination, but they know fully well if they go back to LA down 0-2, that's going to be very tough.
Look at these guys. They're talking about Wrigley Field selling out. When was the last time Wrigley Field sold out? 1910? Wrigley Field don't sell out a lot,
like
do
it's
it?
been a long time.
Wrigley Field don't sell. Maybe opening day this year. Maybe like the first 3 or 4 games this year until they went 0-4 and then everybody stopped coming.
Yeah. I want to talk about CP3 later on.
Yeah, Frank wants to talk about CP3. Chris Paul.
Oh, Chris Paul, yeah. CP3, 32 points, 12 of 14. The Clippers playing really, really good basketball.
He wants to talk about him later.
Now.
Frank wants to talk about him later when Frank comes on the air. Don't forget, we got Frank Sprankle coming in the second hour of our show today. That's right, I said second hour because we do 2 fun-filled hours of sports talk every freaking day here, man. So make sure you show up.
Here's a big question to ask all of you, though, too, about Scotty Brooks. I know how you are about ifs, Jeff, but if the Thunder end up losing this series to the Clippers, is Scotty Brooks' job in jeopardy?
Why would you say that?
You never could tell because remember, he was under fire in the first round, and you keep wondering if he doesn't get past the second round against the Clippers, is his job in jeopardy?
Well, why? Doesn't he have a contract?
Yeah, but remember, he faced a lot of pressure with that series against Memphis.
I have a contract. I can't get fired.
Look what happened with Mark Jackson.
So why the hell do you have more than 1-year contracts if you can fire the guy in the middle of his freaking contract? Does that make any sense?
I guess it's just because these days the ownership says, look, if you're not getting it done and you're not delivering and winning championships, then get out and find yourself another coaching job.
Okay, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with the firing or anything that they want to do. But the guy is in the middle of a contract.
Yep.
How in the world? Let me ask you a question. In the normal business world, if I hire you to come onto my company, Sean, I give you a 3-year contract, right?
Right.
And I fire you after 2 years. Isn't that breach of contract? Can't you sue me over that?
Yeah.
So why in the world is it allowed in sports?
I have no idea.
I understand that that Golden State is still going to give him his $2.5 million that they were supposed to give him next year if he was under contract. I understand that. I get that. But if somebody signs a 3-year contract and you can fire him after 2 years, what the hell's the sense of giving him a 3-year contract?
That's a good question.
Okay?
Sometimes it's like it happens with any professional sport where it's like you sign a big contract, maybe a 3 or a 4-year extension or a 5-year contract, and it could be just for short term, and then they realize, boom, you're out of there, and we'll pay you the rest of your money, but then you need to find yourself another coaching or managerial job.
3-year contracts, 4-year contracts, 5-year contracts, anything over 2 years should be gone. Everybody should be on a 1-year or a 2-year contract because you can be cut, fired, or let go at any point during your contract. That's ridiculous. Then why even have a contract if that's the case?
Very true.
That's ridiculous. I've been saying this for years. Why bother signing a 3-year deal when I know that you're probably going to fire me after 2 years? I'll tell you what, I want to go by a year-to-year basis. This way, if I do really good this year and I want to stick around, you got to pay me more money.
Yeah.
Basically, you should be on a contract, a performance contract. You get a base salary, and if you do so much during the year, you get more money. That's right. How it should be. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Done. This way, if the owner doesn't like you, he only has to have you for 1 year and you're gone.
True.
Okay? I mean, geez, Louise, and it should be like that in all sports. And you want to know something? The PGA's got it right. You want to know why? Because in the PGA, everybody's an independent contractor. Everybody works for themselves. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
You sign a contract with the team, right?
Yeah.
You work for yourself, but you also work for the team, right? And the
Right.
team can fire you from any point on or cut you or let you go any point you sign that contract, correct?
Correct.
Can't be done in PGA. They're independent contractors. They're like have a 1-year contract every year.
And that's why with Mark Jackson, I was just disappointed to hear that he gets fired. But like you said, Jeff, he'll find something real quickly as far as a coaching job goes.
I like what Golden State said. We need to go in a different direction. What different direction? What, you didn't like going up?
In a different direction.
That's what they said.
That's what they said. But yeah, in a different direction. But I would say if you're the Warriors, okay, you find yourself another coach. But what you have to do is make sure you keep the team that you have right now, because Encyclopedia Man, I still disagree with that statement that it would be 10 more years. No, the Warriors are a young team, and they're very, very tough, and they're trying to win that championship since 1975, the last time the Warriors won one.
You know what? I hope Carmelo Anthony goes to the Bulls because it's just going to make them worse, not going to make them better.
So coming from a Knicks fan, you're saying you would approve the move of Carmelo leaving New York and heading to the Windy City?
Yeah, if Carmelo leaves New York, it'll make them better. If Carmelo stays, it's only going to screw with them. Yeah. If Carmelo leaves, it'll make New York better. If Carmelo stays, it's going to kind of hurt them. They'll still be good, but it's going to hurt them. If he goes to the Bulls, it's only going to hurt the Bulls because they won't be able to get nobody else, and they'll have to get rid of a bunch of people. It's not going to be a pretty sight. Not going to be a pretty sight because you know damn well Jerry Dornsdorf or Reinsdorf ain't going to be going over the salary cap and have to pay the luxury tax. So you ain't going to let that happen. So it's going to be tough for them to get him. But I hope he goes because he's the type of player that needs to have the ball in his hand. And so is Derrick Rose. So that ain't going to work. So watch out for that.
As long as it's not Noah. That's what Frank is saying.
I'll tell you something right now. Noah will be non-existent on the offense if you get Carmelo Anthony. Non-existent.
And then you guys would still have Derrick Rose, right? I think.
Yeah, but Derrick Rose needs the ball in his hand to do what he needs to do, right?
Right.
Carmelo Anthony needs the ball in his hand to do what he needs to do, right?
Yep.
Well, there ain't no two balls on the court last time I checked.
Mm-hmm.
They only play with one basketball, right?
Right.
It ain't going to work. Plus, Carmelo Anthony don't like to play defense, does he?
No.
Exactly. It ain't going to work.
And on that note, we have to run to commercial break, and after commercial break, we'll have our good friend and sports expert Frank Sprinkle on.
Sports World Radio.
Storms move fast, so we use the best technology. That includes Bosch Icon wiper blades.
They're beam blades with memory tension springs and an aerodynamic design,
which means they fit the curve of the windshield. Bosch Icon wiper blades wiped our windshield clean and outlasted any other blade we've used. In my opinion, the Bosch Icon wiper blades are the best blades out there. Bosch Icon wiper blades, how storm chasers clear the way.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
My mother made the best toffee in the world. It's delicious. So now we've turned her toffee into a business. My goal was to take an idea and make it happen. I'm Janet Long, and I formed my toffee company through LegalZoom. I never really thought I would make money doing what I love.
We created LegalZoom to help people start their business and launch their dreams. Go to LegalZoom.com today and make your business dream a reality. At LegalZoom.com, we put the law on your side.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Sports Radio, Brooklyn, my butt there, Frank Sprinkle's with us. And he just told me on hold he thinks he can take the mean streets of Brooklyn. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Why would send me to the mean streets of Brooklyn?
You can't take the mean. Just because you were born and raised in Chicago, you think you can take the mean streets of New York? Get the fuck out of here.
Excuse me?
Frank, I was going to ask you real quickly. So
you
we
ask
can
me
move
anything.
On to this. Yeah. Well, okay. So Jeff and we've already given out our picks for the second round. I've been wanting to know real quickly, Frank, what your thoughts are on these upcoming series, and who are you going to be picking between the Pacers and the Wizards, and what's your prediction for how many games?
I definitely have to go with the Washington Wizards here. And when I found out that that this was going to be the first round matchup, the Indiana Pacers and the Washington Wizards, I was saying to myself this, look, if I'm the Indiana Pacers, I'm scared beyond belief. How do you let the Atlanta Hawks, a team that was under 500, I don't care what seed they were, the number 8 seed in the playoffs, sure enough, against the number 1 seed, a team that was how many games under 500? And
they
you
were
took
6
them,
games.
6 games under 500.
Yeah, 38 and 44. That's what
38 and 44. How do you take them to 7? A team you should have swept them. No, not even 5. You should have swept their behinds away. You should have swept their dirty bird behinds away.
Well, here's what we got for. Frank, I was just gonna say, here's what we got for the results here, buddy. Okay, Jeff's got the Wizards in 6 games. I have got the Wizards in 6 games. What's your prediction? How many games do you think this goes?
Let's see. 5. I'll take honestly, I will take the Wizards in 5. I will give the Pacers one of them. I will give them one of these 2 in Indiana, but I will say the Wizards in 5. The Wizards are a team that is clicking right now. They got a lot of young talent with Wall and Beal. I don't quite think they're ready to take the next step in terms of getting past the Miami Heat, but I think that's going to be the potential Eastern Conference final matchup, the Miami Heat and the Washington Wizards. But I don't think the Wizards are quite ready to take that step yet.
Yeah, and I tell you, last night Indiana again looking so sloppy. And you got to remember, before that season ended, the Pacers didn't end it very well. I remember thinking, like in middle or late March, that it was just a lock that they had the Eastern Conference wrapped up, but they just had Miami hanging, and they barely held them off. Now, Frank, with that statement you just talked about with the Nets and the Heat, I take it that you're going to be taking the Heat to defeat the Nets, even though, despite the fact Brooklyn has beaten them all 4 meetings in the regular season. But like Jeff said that the regular season doesn't mean a hill of beans. It's the postseason and the games that count. What's your prediction on this series?
Hold on. How many of those games were 1-point differential favoring the Nets?
It doesn't freaking matter.
Here's the thing, though. In the 4 games that they played, the Nets would beat the Heat by 7 points or less in all 4 of the meetings.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because this is different. It's a playoff. It's a new season, and so Frank, I'm going to ask you your thoughts on this series and you're going to probably say Heat in how many games?
I'm going to say the Heat in 6 games. I do think that the Nets are poised. They're going to be a tougher opponent for, obviously, the Miami Heat, as opposed to the lonely Charlotte Bobcats. Rest in peace. You're now known as the Charlotte Hornets once again. I do have to say that it's going to be the Heat in 6 games, but you guys are right. And, Jeff, you are right especially here. I have to agree with you. What you do in the regular season doesn't matter. The Miami Heat, with their talent, led by LeBron James above all else, this is a team that gets ready. They put up 10 notches when it comes to the postseason.
Now, so that's what I have. I can't believe I'm going to say this to you, Frank, and you're probably going to be shocked. I have the Nets winning this series. I'm picking it as an upset special because, look, I know the Nets are a veteran team, but they're like Jeff said, we talked about this in the first hour of the show, okay, for our first hour, that the media is making too much about the fact that they're talking more about it being Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett against LeBron James. Jeff has got a point saying, okay, it's just 3 players, but we're talking Nets Heat, and there's more players to it.
And we're talking about aging players as far as the Brooklyn Nets are concerned here, Sean. Look, you can take upset all you want. That is clearly what you see to possibly be true here. What I see to possibly be true here, and I said 6 games. For me to say that the Miami Heat are going to win this series in 6 games, that just comes to show you the type of fight the Brooklyn Nets are going to give in this series. And I do see Miami winning this series in 6 games. It's going to be a very physical series. The Brooklyn Nets are not going to lie down. They're not going to be intimidated like the Charlotte Bobcats were. The Charlotte Bobcats, this is a team that doesn't have any postseason history for the most part. They were just happy being there. And yes, I do believe they were in the awe of just being in the presence of the 2-time defending NBA champions. So as far as the Brooklyn Nets, this is a whole new ball game, Sean. I have to say Heat in 6.
And there's been a lot of history between Pierce, Garnett, and James, especially back to the days when James was with Cleveland, and then, of course, when Pierce and Garnett were with Boston. Of course, in 2008, Boston beat Cleveland in 7 games, 6 games in 2010. Finally, James got the monkey off his back and finally beat the Celtics in 2011, and then, of course, that great 7-game series. Now we move to the Western Conference semifinals here, Frank, and we'll start with the series from last night. The Thunder, of course, playing the Clippers. Jeff and I have made a prediction, and we've said that the Thunder are going to take it in 7 games. What's your thoughts on the Clippers and Thunder, and how many games do you think it goes?
I'm going to have to say the Clippers, and I'm going to say this is a series that's going to go pretty long. I do say the Clippers, perhaps in a 7-game series here. I got to tell you, Chris Paul, very impressive last night. And we obviously know the obvious involving the Los Angeles Clippers over the last week and a half. Something such as what has happened with the Clippers, and it doesn't bear repeating, but with what has happened and with what the NBA has done, that's a springboard for any team. And for the leadership of Doc Rivers, that has already been proven. If you don't believe that Doc Rivers can handle a team's personnel, well, obviously believe it now. If you take a look at Chris Paul, this is a guy that is their union rep. He is their leader on the court. He displayed it last night.
That was unbelievable. 12 out of 14, 32 points that he had. Jeff, you were impressed with the way he shot the ball last night, too. But Jeff was talking about the bad attitude of Russell Westbrook in the first hour, right,
Okay,
Jeff?
Yes.
But I want to talk about, though, Chris Paul, and for that matter, the Clippers as a whole. Do you gentlemen believe with what the Clippers have been through the last week and a half? Fortunately, all the media attention on this issue has died down considerably.
Hey, Frank.
But don't you get the sense, what is it?
Frank, you got to move your microphone away from your mouth. It's rubbing up against your face.
Don't you gentlemen get the sense that this can unite a team more ways than one? I am a believer of that.
I think you're right there, Frank. You know, and look, they've dealt with a lot of adversity, this team has, but Doc Rivers has held that team together. He's made them stronger. He said, look, we got to ignore all the things that have happened with the Sterling debacle and realize we still got to go out there and just do our job, play basketball.
And that's going to make that. And let me say this, Sean, with what has happened with the whole Donald Sterling fiasco, that is going to make this Los Angeles Clippers team stronger. Whether they go to the NBA Finals or even win the championship for that matter, time will tell. But I do believe they are poised to win this series.
Jeff, what's your thoughts? You think even though you and I have got the Thunder in 7 games, the Clippers could still do their part and just knock the Thunder out? We saw that last night.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Both of you.
Sure.
Tomorrow night, Thunder blows out the Clippers.
I could see that happening.
Series is back to 1-1. Now what does media say? Uh-oh. Clippers Clippers look so bad, they're going to get blown out in the rest of the series. The press just goes back and forth, back and forth. I got an idea. Stick to your guns and stay there, you rat bastards.
Well, here's the way I would say it. If I was on
that doesn't mean if they blow them out tomorrow.
If I was on ESPN or some big sports radio station, I would make it a point and say, look, like we do now, okay? Look, they got the split. Now they got the home court, and the Clippers will be very, very tough. So the Clippers will have nothing to lose if they were to get blown out tomorrow. And and of course we probably expect it because look, because the thing is, the Thunder know perfectly well they have to bounce back and play better. And it would not surprise me today that Scotty Brooks has that whole team looking at the film. You got to remember, both of these teams had 1 day off before they had to play Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals.
So whose fault is that?
That? Russell Westbrook, and I do agree with Josh here, he better not act like a little kid. He better grow up over these next 24 hours.
He acted like a little kid. He acted like a little kid in last night's game. He went and sat in the end of the bench. We're not playing.
Okay, I'll join you. Wham. But you know what?
Complaining and griping the whole time.
He's like a little baby. He doesn't get his way. He sits at the end of the bench. You know what?
And you know what? That can tear a team apart.
Exactly.
You know
and if I was Scotty Brooks,
this series will be over soon.
If I was Scotty Brooks, he wouldn't have played the rest of the game either.
How about the rest of the series?
He should have. You know what? He shouldn't start tomorrow night neither. Because that's ridiculous. And I personally happen to think that they're better off without him anyway.
Hey, I know we got to get to an update. Why don't we get to the last series?
Well, we don't have an update. We don't have an update for 17 minutes. Frank, yes, the final series, this should be a really, really good matchup. Another one from the Western Conference semifinals. It'll be the Portland Trailblazers taking on the San Antonio Spurs. And in our picks, Jeff says he's got the Spurs in 6 games. I have got the Spurs in 6 games. Who do you got in this series?
I got the Spurs in 5. I'll say this about the Trailblazers. What a great series it was against the Rockets, but I don't see them completing the Texas two-step. I have to say the Spurs in 5.
And Jeff and I are taking San Antonio, like I've already said, in 6 games.
6 games.
Yeah, Jeff, are the Spurs in any trouble after that 7-game series against Dallas, or do you think they look pretty in good shape right now? I don't think so. After a 30-point blowout, what do you expect?
I don't think they're in trouble. I think they're actually better suited for Portland.
Yeah.
Than they were for Dallas.
I still was amazed when Portland, Frank, hit that game-winning three-pointer against the Rockets. I kept thinking, well, looks like we might have 3 7-game, but then boom.
I got to tell you, before we go to the update, Sean, this has been perhaps the most, before we go to the break, this has been the most entertaining first round of the NBA playoffs since it went from a best of 5 to a best of 7 in 2003. You've had 2 game winners. You've had how many games go to overtime? I can't think of a first round best of 7 series in which it has just been non-stop. You can't turn away from it at all.
It would have been better if it was 5 games, Frank.
I think the first 2 rounds should be 5 games.
That's what the NBA still needs to do. Is try to get this to a 5-game series instead of having
money, Sean, money.
Yeah,
I know, but we got to go to commercial break now.
SportsWorldRadio.
Storms move fast, so we use the best technology. That includes Bosch Icon wiper blades.
They're beam blades with memory tension springs and an aerodynamic design,
which means they fit the curve of the windshield. Bosch Icon wiper blades wiped our windshield clean and outlasted any other blade we've used. In my opinion, the Bosch Icon wiper blades are the best blades out there. Bosch Icon wiper blades, how storm chasers clear the way.
Did you know that just 30 minutes a day of physical activity can improve your health and decrease your risk of heart disease? For every hour of regular, vigorous exercise, you gain 2 hours of life expectancy. So start walking for yourself and for your heart. Start walking with your family. You'll feel better. Start walking in your community. You'll lead happier and healthier lives. Start walking. Start something. Join the movement today. For more information on the American Heart Association's START program, visit startwalkingnow.org and start walking. Start something.
What kind of person gets to work in the sunshine instead of an office? This kind of person. I am the new way to work. I do have an office. I'm just not chained to it. It's a Regis office at one of the nicest addresses in the city. I don't have a lease, so I don't have to budget for stuff like phones, IT guys, and artwork for the lobby. Instead, I pay one low monthly rate that gives me a beautiful lobby that impresses my clients, a friendly receptionist, a fully furnished office, a place to meet, and a place to brainstorm with my fellow New Way to Workers. We wonder why more people don't realize that the new way to work is the best way to work. I come here because I want to, not because I have to. I am the new way to work, and I'd like you to join me.
Start now and get 1 month free. Call 1-800-OFFICES or visit regis.com/TV.
Hey everybody, this is Sky. And when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Hey, welcome back, kiddos. That's right. Sports World Radio right here in your face every Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. in the East. 3 p.m. in the West, 6 p.m. in the East, and if you live in the Central?
It's 6:17.
Frank and
It's 6:17.
Please figure that out for yourself. If
I
you
just
can't,
said it's 6:17.
I need to help. I'm gonna say this. Figure it out for yourself. If not, I'll really try to help you if you need glasses. Anyway,
dude, in the mountain, since I gave them the time of 6:17. If you live in the mountain time zone, that's what you need to figure it out for yourself.
Screw them.
Anyway, 18 minutes past the hour. Frank, what do you got there, bud? What's the next story you want to talk about?
And this is a story that has really been brewing among the NBA's inner circle over the last week.
Hey, Frank, you know something?
Excuse me?
You know something, Frank?
You know something, Jeff? You know something, Jeff, what?
You're a bully.
Dude, I could take the mean streets of Brooklyn.
You're a bully, man.
You were going to say that, okay, we were on commercial break, and Frank, you were talking about
Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr. Yes, Steve Kerr.
I do want to talk about the rumors that have been circulating about Steve Kerr, and of course, busy day in terms of coaching changes with one Mark Jackson being relieved of his duties in Golden State. But I do want to talk about a guy that may be entering his first NBA coaching job, and that is Steve Kerr. 15 seasons, 5-time NBA champion, of course, 3 of which with the Bulls, and then winning a couple with the San Antonio Spurs in 1999 and 2003 under Greg Popovich. All right, Steve Kerr, here's a guy that has 15 years of NBA experience. He's been an executive with the Phoenix Suns. Throw the broadcasting aside, obviously he's done many of that, but would this be a good fit for the New York Knicks? And Jeff Escow, I want to get your take in on this, considering you're the Knicks fan in here.
He's not going to New York.
Would he be a good fit if he were offered the job?
Yeah, because he's going to run the triangle offense out there. But now the Warriors fired Mark Jackson.
Wait, so you think the Knicks are going to go after Mark Jackson?
No, I think the Warriors are going to go after Kerr.
That has been rumored. But wait. So you think that Steve Kerr is going to go, if he were to get a choice between the New York Knicks job, in which you have Phil Jackson, one of his mentors in the front office, or the Golden State Warriors job, he is going to want to take the Golden State Warriors job over the New York Knicks. Okay, so here's something we can come to an agreement.
I don't like that, but,
Steve Kerr will be a head coach in the NBA next year, correct?
He will be a head coach next year.
Why is everybody going after somebody who's never coached a game in his life?
Because the guy has played in the NBA
so
for
what?
14 seasons. That's
Jeff,
experience
look
enough.
Look at what happened with Jason Kidd. He retired from the NBA. What did Brooklyn do? They offered him a contract, and now he's coach of the Brooklyn Nets.
I don't give a flying fig Newton.
Hey, does Brad Stevens have NBA?
Yeah, and look how great. And look how great.
Stevens.
Yeah, and look how great Boston did.
Exactly.
Don't remind me about that. But yeah, Steve Kerr will be a head coach, and I'm going to say it'll be with the Knicks. I still don't think he would want to fit in Golden State. I think Golden State should look at other possibilities.
Okay, let me say something to you. Okay, I would love to see Steve Kerr over there at the New York Knicks, and I said it before all this happened that he was going to be the next coach of the New York Knicks. He lives in San Diego. He is friends with the owner and the president, very long time friends with the owner and the president of the Golden State Warriors. That team is in California. Okay, why does he want to move his wife and his household from California to New York? Listen, his wife already told him to do whatever the hell you want to do. So it's going to be up to him. Does he want to
take the Knicks job if you wanted it?
Yes, he can.
Okay, so he could leave San Diego, where it's warm and sunny during the winter, for the lousy, cold, and blowing and drifting snow of New York.
Correct. Why is everybody going after him in the first place? Nobody knows how he can coach.
I think it has to do, Jeff, with the trickle-down effect here, considering that Phil Jackson seems to want Steve Kerr's services, and for the New York Knicks to think, well, hey, maybe Steve Kerr could be a great fit for us. Hey, maybe he can be a great fit for our team. Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe it has to do with the 15 years he played in the NBA, all right? You played 15 years. I think that's experience enough.
Maybe it has something to do with Phil Jackson can coach from the bench and tell him what to do, and he'll just tell his players to do it. Maybe that's what it is.
This is like Eric Spoelstra under Pat Riley.
Oh, yeah.
This is, wait a minute, this is just the second coming of Eric Spoelstra and
Correct.
Pat Riley. But let me ask you this. Did anybody know the name Eric Spoelstra before he became head coach of the Miami Heat?
That's true.
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did? When did you first hear of the name Eric Spoelstra?
When Pat Riley hired him as his video boy.
But how many people actually were aware that he started off as the video coordinator of the Miami Heat?
I was.
Are you Eric Spoelstra's biographer?
No, but I'm a basketball guy. I know this stuff.
I know. You love basketball more than any sport.
That's right.
Here's the reason why.
Go ahead.
Because you got to remember that players who used to play in the NBA, that's exactly what the owners are doing nowadays. They're going after players who play, and they feel like, okay, players are retired. Let's target them and make them an NBA head coach.
They're cheap hires too.
Let me ask you this. There's a lot of rumblings here in California that maybe the Los Angeles Lakers would hire Derek Fisher if he retires as their next head coach. What?
Yeah, that's true. Look at what happened. Jason Kidd is an example of the whole thing because you can always use him.
No, you can't.
Look what happened there.
Wait a minute, wouldn't that be the perfect opportunity for Steve Kerr? Because look at the distance, San Diego to Los Angeles. It's only 120 miles. Should the Los Angeles Lakers have interest in Steve Kerr? Maybe they should.
I don't know.
I just think that Phil Jackson's going to hire Steve Kerr so Phil Jackson can coach via proxy Steve Kerr.
And here's the thing, say what you want about the ownership and everybody in Golden State. Steve Kerr would have Phil Jackson to lean on in terms of coaching, in terms of mentoring. He would have Phil Jackson already in place in New York.
Yeah, and they're going to run the triangle offense over there with Steve Kerr. You know that.
I don't think it would work, though, with the talent.
Well, I think it would work great with the talent because they would move the ball. They don't move the ball now.
All right, so maybe it's a question of utilize the triangular offense, and we'll find out what happens.
Exactly. Carmelo's going to be the fixture of that, just like Kobe was.
Do you think maybe Carmelo has a say in did you think maybe Carmelo's targeting Steve Kerr here?
No, I bet, because I know for a fact that Carmelo Anthony and Phil Jackson had a meal, and Phil Jackson basically told Carmelo Anthony that Steve Kerr is going to be the head coach and I'm going to coach through him. Basically is what he told him.
All right, so pretty much we're seeing Steve Kerr as being a liaison here.
Correct. That's what's going to happen.
And then the big question is going to be, Frank, since you're the Bulls fan, would you welcome Carmelo Anthony on the Chicago Bulls? Would you be happy with that move?
I would be happy because the Bulls do need a little more offense. Look, we don't know what type of a player Derrick Rose is going to be. And I will say this. I know we were talking off air, and I will say this to Jeff. I will agree with Jeff on this. It would be very interesting to see, can you mesh the egos of Derrick Rose and Carmelo Anthony together? Jeff, you don't think it's possible in Chicago if that becomes a reality?
No, because Derrick Rose needs the ball to do what he does, and Carmelo needs the ball to do what he does. If Carmelo stays in New York, he's the man.
Mm-hmm.
If he goes to Chicago, he ain't.
Oh, well, actually, so you actually see it as it's going to be a huge fight between the two of them. Derrick Rose saying, I'm the man. Carmelo Anthony saying, I'm the man. No, I'm the man. No, I'm the man. All of that.
Correct. It would be a bad move.
I will say this. The Bulls do need to go in an offensive direction. They were tops in defense last year. I like Tom Thibodeau as a head coach. This guy, however, is too defensive-oriented. You do need to focus in terms of the offense here a little bit. I like Thibodeau's approach to the game, the way he prepares, the way he provides discipline within his players. However, the Bulls do need to go at least a little bit in a more offensive-minded direction.
I don't think it'd be a good move for them to do it, because he's not a defensive player to begin with anyway, Carmelo Anthony.
And that's something that obviously if you're Tom Thibodeau, if you're playing under Tom Thibodeau, you talk about Phil Jackson and you have to run the triangular offense here. Well, if you are playing under Tom Thibodeau, you have to play your best when it comes to defense.
Right, and who knows if Tom Thibodeau is even going to be there next year.
That's a good point.
I would love to have Tom Thibodeau back. I think he's the best coach and the greatest coach in history of the Chicago Bulls. Say what you want about Phil Jackson. Look at the talent Phil Jackson had.
Now, speaking of coaching moves there, Jeff and I have already talked about this, and so is the Encyclopedia Man. But, Frank, your thoughts on Mark Jackson being fired from the Golden State Warriors?
Well, a lot of expectations in Golden State, making the playoffs 3 seasons, but they cannot get past the first round this year. And I think Mark Jackson...
I was disappointed. I didn't think that was the right move. I thought it was bad. But I know that with Jackson being let go, I say the Lakers are going to get Jackson as coach there, and Kirk goes to the Knicks.
That's what it's all about. And also, this is a win now or never league. And that's
I don't even see Steve Kerr going to Golden State.
Okay, and let me ask you this then. You know what? If the Golden State Warriors don't get their wish and Steve Kerr chooses to go to New York and coach the Knicks, then guess what? All of this with firing Mark Jackson, all of that went for naught. Because then who do you go after?
Yeah, that's
And
a
you
good
know
point.
you know who you go after because the team is made for this coach.
John Calipari?
No.
I'm just kidding.
How about this name? Mike D'Antoni.
Ooh, yeah, Mike D'Antoni to the Golden State Warriors.
That team is
Stephen Curry on that team.
That team is made for run and gun, isn't it? Isn't it?
And he also knows the conference. He knows the division.
But that team is made run and gun. That team is likes to run and all that. And that's what he does. So that team is built for that. He'd be a good coach there. They don't play defense anyway, so what's the difference?
Let me ask you, what happens to Mark Jackson? I know he was in broadcasting before he got the job, which was his first coaching job. Does he go back to broadcasting?
Well, he can't.
Does he get a coaching job somewhere else, or does he become an assistant?
No, he's not going to become an assistant. He's either going to be a head coach or he's going to go back to the booth. He can go back to the booth because the Warriors got to pay him $2.5 million next year.
And plus, he would enjoy doing games with Mike Breen and Jeff Van Gundy. Very simple.
Yeah, absolutely. And also that would give him maybe a couple years to sit back, do the broadcasting work, and maybe he'll have coaching visions again. Who knows?
Because you know very well that the veteran coaches like Jerry Sloan and George Karl are probably saying, "We've had our day. We turned George Karl turned teams around. Well, wait a minute. You could still see maybe George Karl maybe with Golden State. I think, didn't he coach the Warriors? I think he did.
I don't know. I don't remember.
George Karl, that doesn't ring a bell.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so, Sean.
But I don't see George Karl or Jerry Sloan coming back because they realize their days are kind of done. They're like saying, let's retire. George Karl likes doing what he's doing with ESPN. I'm ready to
Actually, you're right. He did coach. Hold on. He did coach the Warriors from 1986 to 1988. Many people aren't going to remember that, but that was only a couple seasons as head coach. And his record in that time was, well, it wasn't really good his second year. That's why he got fired. It was 42-40. This was in the 86-87 season. They did make the playoffs. They lost in the conference semifinals. And they went a disastrous 16-48 the following year. And when you go 16-48, that's pretty much a cause, if you're not a first-year head coach, for you getting canned.
Frank, got to run to a update.
All right, so what do you say we get to our final update of the day? Take it away, Sean, man.
Welcome, everybody, to the last update here. We're 31 minutes past the hour. It is 7:31 p.m. on the East Coast, which makes it 4:31 p.m. on the West. It is Tuesday, May 6, 2014. We're going to start in the National Hockey League, actually in the NBA right now. In the NBA, a game going on in progress right now, and this could be a very good matchup. The Nets and the Heat right now, it's 22-20. The Heat over the Nets. 1 quarter of play complete in that game. See what happens there. The other game we got coming up on TNT following the Nets and Heat, it'll be the Trailblazers at the Spurs. Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals. So, and then, of course, last night the results were victories by both the Wizards and the Clippers. In the National Hockey League, here are the games that we got going on right now. We got 2 of them. Game 3 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. It's the Bruins at the Canadiens. This series is even up at 1 game apiece. The other game, it'll be the Blackhawks taking the Wild. The Blackhawks lead that series 2-0. Tomorrow night will be Game 4 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. It'll be the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the New York Rangers. And in this series, the Penguins lead the series 2-1. Now we're going to go over to Major League Baseball and get everybody caught up on what's going on with the scores and the updates here. We're going to start in the National League. The Dodgers and the Nationals are scoreless. It's the bottom of the second inning in that game. The interleague play, the Blue Jays are taking on the Phillies, and right now the Blue Jays lead 1-0 over the Phillies. Giants and the Pirates, right now it's 1-0, the Giants over the Pirates. Cardinals at the Braves, that game is scoreless, the bottom of the second inning. Mets at the Marlins, and right now the Marlins have a 2-0 lead against the Mets. Other games that we have, interleague play, you've got, of course, the White Sox taking on the Cubs in the Windy City Series. Diamondbacks taking on the Brewers. The Rangers at the Rockies, interleague play. Royals at the Padres. And another game that we have going on for interleague play right now, it's the Reds and the Red Sox. Right now, the Red Sox have a 1-0 lead against the Reds. Here are the American League games. The Twins and the Indians. It's 2-0 Indians against the Twins, bottom second. Bottom first, it is the Tigers up 1-0 over the Astros. Orioles and the Rays down in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Rays have a 2-0 lead. And two other games that we have, the late ones tonight, will be the Yankees at the Angels and the Mariners taking on the Athletics. We're going to be right back after this commercial break.
Welcome to the Man Manual. Man comes with a multifunctional casing known as skin. It is remarkable. Warning, standard body wash can cause damage to man's skin. Maintain it properly with Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. It cleans man and protects skin from dryness. This will keep man's skin remarkable, even under extreme testing. Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. Skin care built in. Also, freshen man's exterior with new Aqua Impact Body Wash.
Why does consultant Jerry Howell stay at La Quinta?
Can you come back tomorrow?
Because only with La Quinta can Jerry instant hold the room tonight using just his phone number. And then power down for tomorrow on his pillow top bed. And when Jerry's refreshed, you know what he does?
We need ideas, people. Think.
Synergistic integration. Genius.
He thinks outside the box.
I'm going for it. No.
La Quinta Inns and Suites take care of you so you can take care of business. Instant hold your next stay on your smartphone at LQ.com.
La Quinta.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Back to Sports World Radio. Jeff Eskow, Sean Mann, and Frank Sprankle joining you here every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. in the East, 3 p.m. in the West, and if you live in the Central,
it is 6:36.
All right, one of the stories I got for you, Frank. This is an interesting one that you have. The NFL draft, Jeff and Frank. What do you guys think about it moving to different cities? I've heard Los Angeles, Chicago. So is there talk about that possibly happening?
I got to tell you, it's a very interesting proposal. You have the mayors of these respected two cities that would like to see the NFL draft. Now, as far as Los Angeles, it's a different matter here because they don't have an NFL team, but that's not quite the point here. As far as the NFL draft, look, I'm about tradition here. I like how they do it. Keep it a Radio City Music Hall in New York. There's nothing like having these prospects show up to New York. Some of them may have never even been to New York. So you know what? Hey, you know what? These are the big college players that you have out there. Have them in the big city of all. Keep it in New York. I think Jeff will agree with me on that.
Jeff, your thoughts about it, too. The NFL draft maybe moving to other cities like Chicago and L.A.
I could really give a flying fig Newton. I don't really care. I hate the NFL and the NFL draft, so it don't matter to me.
Wait a minute, you just said you hate the NFL. You said you hate the NFL draft, but before you said that, you said you hated the NFL. That means you hate the entire National Football League, correct?
I'm not liking the NFL very much myself either, Frank, because I'm not liking all these new rule changes they're making. Roger Goodell, ever since he's become commissioner, has screwed up the whole entire NFL, and these extra playoff games are pathetic. Moving from
I think the draft is pathetic.
Yeah, but I
no, heavy in May.
Why would I even care about this proposal with the NFL deciding to say, okay, so we're going to have it at different cities? It doesn't bother me. I won't even watch anyway. I don't really watch the NFL or NBA draft because it's all about drafting college players and the pros.
Oh, so you don't watch any draft?
Not really. I really don't.
I find the drafts interesting.
I know, Jeff, you enjoy watching the NBA draft, but
It's
not
almost
the NFL
graduation,
draft.
dude. It's graduation day for the best college players in the league as far as the National Football League is concerned. They're graduating from college. They're about to sign on the dotted line. They're about to make millions and millions of bucks.
Actually, that's not necessarily true. They're not all graduating from college.
No, all right. Well, all right. Graduating from college football, then. That's maybe the best way to put it.
Some of them aren't even ready to graduate college football.
Or do you think Johnny Manziel's ready?
No.
I'll say this. We have not heard anything. I was going to save this for Thursday, gentlemen, but it's interesting. As far as Johnny Manziel is concerned, have we heard any character issues about Manziel this particular football offseason?
I can't stand him.
I did hear that, just a sec, Jeff. I did hear that the Cowboys are now kind of getting talking and are kind of in the mix.
Actually, Sean, I saw an interview today with Jerry Jones, and he said that they will be not drafting a quarterback in the first round.
So wait a minute. We all know the 34-year-old Tony Romo is a quarterback of the future as far as the Dallas Cowboys are concerned. Cowboy fans rejoice.
Yep.
Yeah.
How about that?
Indeed.
I have rejoiced. You guys can rejoice. Well, we're not Cowboy fans, but any Cowboy. Nicholas Spiva, if you're listening, I feel bad for you, buddy.
Doesn't mean I believe him, but that's what he said.
Well, let me ask you this. Who do you have faith in? Tony Romo or Johnny Manziel taking your snaps?
Neither. You got Tony Romo coming off another back surgery, and you got Johnny Manziel, who in my eyes doesn't last in the NFL for more than 3 years. He's another Tim Tebow.
Oh, so wait. Only difference is at least Johnny Manziel can throw the football.
Okay.
Tim Tebow could really throw the football.
Johnny Manziel would rather run with the football than throw it.
But he can throw. He has better accuracy than Tim Tebow as a passer.
I don't even. He is not an NFL quarterback.
Okay, so wait. You're trying to compare in terms of ability. You're comparing Johnny Manziel to Tim Tebow, correct?
I'll compare Johnny Manziel to anybody, to any NFL quarterback. He's not. He's not an NFL quarterback. He is a college football quarterback, just like Tim Tebow was.
All right,
That's
so I'll
it.
take it you won't be watching the draft two nights from now.
No, why? I'm not in. I don't like the NFL draft. I watched the NBA draft because I'm an NBA. I'm a basketball guy. NFL and football is very, very low on the totem pole of my favorite sports.
All right, let me ask you: when did you ever have any strong interest in the NFL? Now, was this before Goodell took over as commissioner, and then all of a sudden everything went south? Oh, so you never have had?
Nope, always been like that. NFL football is not one of my favorite sports.
Or football in general.
Football in general. Not one of my favorite sports. Yes, I watch it. Yes, I root for the Giants because I was born and raised there, and I've been doing it my whole life.
And you've seen them win 2 Super Bowls over the last few seasons.
I've seen them win many Super Bowls. I've been to Giant games. I've been to Charger games. But it's very, very low on my totem pole of sports.
Well, for me, it's basketball too. But I will watch basketball. I will watch the NBA playoffs. I enjoyed this first round, gentlemen. Trust me, with the exception of the Wizards Bull series, my Bulls playing the Wizards, I have enjoyed these first-round playoffs here. So nobody really cares, and I guess I don't either, in terms of should the NFL draft move. I think it should stay in New York, have it at Radio City Music Hall permanently. But I'll say this. You do need to watch the draft for when Roger Goodell comes onto the podium for the first time and hear all of the boos. As a matter of fact, here's what I want to hear. I want to hear from Radio City Music Hall. I want to hear the "You Suck" chants echoing from everybody toward Goodell when he comes to the stage.
See, look, Josh, thank you for agreeing with me. Josh says that Johnny Manziel will be worse than Rex Grossman.
Well, we'll see.
I happen to agree with him. I think Grossman's a better quarterback than Johnny Manziel.
Hey, at least Grossman, did play in a Super Bowl.
Well, here's what Jerry Jones said today, and I know how you feel about Jerry Jones, Jeff, Frank, everybody goes good. Goes, quote, "We've got a good quarterback." You know, for those hoping that the Dallas Cowboys would pick up Texas A&M quarterback Johnny Manziel in the first round, owner and general manager Jerry Jones all but ruled out the possibility Tuesday. He goes, quote, I will go as far as to say it is not our primary goal in the first round to be looking at a quarterback, Jones said. We've got a good one in Tony Romo. He's my future quarterback.
I'm going to say something that I'm going to say something.
He's not 24. He's 34.
I'm going to say something that I never thought I would say. Tony Romo is a better quarterback than Johnny Manziel.
Oh, so you did answer my question. Oh! You just answered my question. Who would be a better quarterback for the Cowboys, Tony Romo or Johnny Manziel?
Tony Romo.
You just answered my question.
Tony Romo. Because you know why?
That's actually, you know what that's like? That's like a horse kicking you in the gut. That's like a horse kicking Johnny Manziel in the gut.
You know why, though? Because Tony Romo's been there and he knows the system. That's why.
You should at 34 years old know an NFL system.
Doesn't mean Tony Romo's going to do anything in that system, but he knows it.
Heck, at 34 years old, shouldn't you be calling your own plays in the offense?
Yeah.
Well, look, Jerry Jones has got one quarterback, 34. He's got who? Brandon Weeden. He's in his third. He's got all these other quarterbacks. They got all these other quarterbacks that are in their 30s, past 30 years old. And I know very shortly, Jerry Jones is going to realize and understand, well, these quarterbacks are getting up there in age. I better start looking at younger quarterbacks and stuff.
I'll say this,
but he always believes he's got his future quarterback.
Wouldn't that be something, though, if Johnny Manziel some way, somehow ends up with the Dallas Cowboys? I don't think it will happen, but that would be something. You have Tony Romo, Brandon Weeden, who doesn't get a lot of attention, obviously. Two guys that are on the north end of 30. Again, Johnny Manziel, a Texan himself. All the controversy surrounding him with Texas A&M, and look, my dad's rich. Yeah, that's where I get my money from. Not to mention I'm going to make millions of dollars in the NFL. My goodness, I would love to see Hard Knocks profile the Dallas Cowboys.
That would be the worst thing. That would be the worst thing to happen to Johnny Manziel.
Wouldn't this be America's huge storyline in the NFL?
It'd be the worst thing.
And Johnny Manziel side by side.
It'd be the worst thing. He needs to get out of Texas and get away from his family and get away from his family's money and all that.
You know what I heard? I heard Jacksonville would be an ideal setting for Manziel because this is an organization that has had no future. I personally think they should have signed Tim Tebow last year because that would have put butts in their seats. Go ahead.
I was just going to mention, too, we'll get back to this, and we'll talk more about this after this last commercial break.
Sports World Radio.
I had PTSD. Once I was back from Iraq, I was distant from everybody in my family.
We had a reunion of our unit, and you'd hear these spouses say, is your husband doing that? My husband's doing that, too. I thought it was just us, and really understanding that, hey, this is a common experience.
I learned more to listen to what he was saying, and that made it easier for me to understand where his pain was coming from.
Warriors should know that resources are available. Learn more at realwarriors.net.
Every parent wants the safest and healthiest products for their family. That's why I created The Honest Company. I was just a concerned mom with a crazy dream. A wish that there was a company that I could rely on that did all of the hard work for me. I'm Jessica Alba, and The Honest Company was my dream.
LegalZoom has helped 1 million businesses successfully get started, including Jessica's. Launch your dream at LegalZoom today. Call us. We're here to help.
Confusion ever someone or have sudden you trouble had speaking, understanding?
Understanding trouble? Have you sudden have or speaking someone ever confusion?
Have you ever had sudden confusion, trouble speaking, or understanding someone?
It could be one of the 5 signs of stroke.
Sudden weakness or numbness of the face, arm, or leg.
Sudden trouble with vision in one or both eyes.
Suddenly having trouble walking or difficulty with balance.
Or a sudden intense headache that comes out of nowhere.
If you or someone you know has any of these symptoms, don't wait. Call 911 immediately. You could make a difference in someone's life, someone you love, maybe even your own.
It's late until, wait, don't too. Don't wait until it's too late.
Time lost is brain lost.
Find out more at powertoendstroke.org. Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Hey everybody, this is Sky. And when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
final segment of the 2-hour show. Glad everybody could be with us today. Lots and lots of stuff. We talked about Sean Mann, Jeff Escott with you. And, of course, every Tuesday and Thursday, our good friend in the second hour, Frank Sprankle. Frankie, what's going on, buddy?
Wow, it's such an honor to be called a good friend of all of you. I at least know I have some friends.
48 minutes past the hour. It's Tuesday, May 6, 2014.
What am I supposed to say to you, Frank? Somebody I hate joins the show every Tuesday and Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say that Thursday when you come on the air.
There you go.
When we last left off on our final break, we were talking about the Cowboys and about that possibility of Frank, you thinking that maybe one day it could happen that Manziel would be with the Cowboys, but probably
I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. I didn't say
look,
that. I did not say it was going to happen.
Frank, remember, Tony Romo got himself a 6-year extension with the Dallas Cowboys, and Jerry Jones has talked so much smack before, and he says he's done a very good job as general manager. He thinks that he has future Hall of Fame quarterback in Tony Romo. And Jeff and I, we laugh every time because what has Tony Romo done? He's only won one playoff game. One, and that's it.
So will Tony Romo be the future quarterback 10 years from now when he's 44?
Yes.
Dude, you know what? This ain't Tony Romo's fault per se. This is Jerry Jones's fault. Jerry Jones is the face of the Dallas Cowboys when it comes to obviously the owner, but below the ownership, he's the vice president of football operations, and he's the general manager. He is all of these.
Hey, you got to remember last year too, Frank, that Jeff and I couldn't believe it. We did a story last year, back around October of last year, and Jerry Jones says he's done a pretty good job as general manager of the Dallas Cowboys.
I can't do the show anymore. I got the giggles.
And Jeff, you couldn't believe it also when he said that. You'd probably with me, Jeff, you've always said, hey, Jerry, I got an idea. You can keep ownership and vice president and president of the Cowboys, but step down as general manager of the Cowboys.
Dude, he could be the owner all he wants. He just needs to have a quality front office of football-oriented people.
If he thinks that 8-8 is good, then he's a freaking moron.
Well, it's good for the Jacksonville. Hey, that's good for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but not the Dallas Cowboys.
But here's the thing: if he was on the show right now, he would say to all three of us, and including Encyclopedia Man, actually all four of us, well, who do you think I should have as general manager?
I don't think he would say that.
Job that I'm doing.
I don't think he would.
He would say, well, you can come and be general
I don't
manager.
think he would say that.
Well, you do with your job.
I don't think he would say that. I think you're absolutely wrong.
Protest this insensitive act. You don't like Jerry Jones as your general manager or your vice president. Look, he can be the owner all he wants. Dude, these Cowboy fans, they need to be taking the appropriate action.
You have to remember that last year when the Cowboys lost the final game against Philadelphia, Jerry Jones was angry and upset and frustrated that it happened again, that it led to another heartbreak, and they went 8-8.
Fire yourself.
And then he's going to be like, well, who should I get? Who's a general manager that could be very, very good for this football team?
Wait, you know what? I'm in a green path with Jeff all day, it seems. I mean, there are a lot of things I do disagree with Jeff on, but Mike Holmgren, why not?
Because I don't think Mike Holmgren wants to deal with him.
Oh, okay.
That's the problem.
Right. So you get the job as general manager and vice president of the Cowboys, and all of a sudden you still have Jerry Jones breathing and ripping down your neck.
Exactly. That's why nobody wants to be the GM over there, because they don't want to deal with his ass.
No, I wouldn't want to be. I think the Cowboys, I'll go on the record as saying this. I believe that Jason Garrett, and all due respect to Jason Garrett, but I think that Jason Garrett's job, the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, is the worst of all 32 NFL head coaches right now.
Yeah.
I really do. This ain't about Jason Garrett as a person. This is about the job and who he works for.
I'll tell you one thing. Dallas goes to 8-8 this year for a fourth straight year, and they lose in the final game. Jason Garrett gets fired, and I can just be on the floor laughing the whole time, because then it's another year of heartbreak for Dallas Cowboy fans.
And
Dude,
you know
don't be
something?
asking me to coach the Dallas Cowboys.
And you know something?
Asking Jeff to coach
They'll clear out all the coaches and everything, but guess what? It's still there. Jerry Jones, so it ain't going to matter.
I don't know. Seriously, I would not. If indeed, let's say Garrett is fired at the end of next season, I would not want that job.
Nobody does. They don't want to work. See, who wants to work for him?
Some idiotic moron will take that job.
Yes.
Who wants to work for him?
Dude, why doesn't he take the job himself? Why isn't Jerry Jones? Hey, he can't fire himself.
He's 70. He's 71. He's been there since February of 1989. So
He
he's
needs
like
to
saying,
retire.
as long as I'm the king and I'm the ruler of the Cowboys, I can do with whatever I want with the team.
He needs to
make
retire.
millions of dollars.
He needs to retire.
You know, isn't it true you can see Cowboys Stadium or the big phone booth? It's now AT&T Stadium for, 5 miles away?
I don't really care because I don't want to go to that stadium because my luck, I'd be sitting behind a pole and I wouldn't be able to see shit.
Yeah, you'd at least be able to see the big screen.
What happens, Jeff and Frank, if Jones were to say, well, how about you guys come with me? I'll have you guys sit in the box with me, and we'll just talk and enjoy watching the Cowboys.
Sorry, I don't want to go.
That's all right, dude. I'll get a lot of good food out of it. It's a luxury box.
Unless they're playing the Giants.
Yeah, hey, you know what? That's a perfect idea, dude. How about Thanksgiving Day? Thanksgiving with Jerry Jones.
Oh, God, I could throw up all over him.
Well, I like saying this though, but as long as he runs that team, he's going to run the team down. And yeah, you're right, Jeff. Who would want to work for him?
Not
Because
me.
you know very well.
that the NFL.
Yeah, well, Frank, you know very well if you were a coach of the Cowboys and you had Jerry Jones not breathing, but just looking at you and saying, hey, look, Frank Sprinkle, you better do a good job coaching this Cowboys team or your butt is out of here.
I would rather be coaching the Jacksonville Jaguars. Seriously.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is.
That's exactly what he would say to me if I was coaching the Cowboys or Jeff. He'd be like saying, hey, Mr. Escal, you coach my Cowboys and do well and win Super Bowls. I'll be proud of you. If you don't, you'll be out of here.
Buffalo Bills.
The only problem with that is, and I would turn around to him and says, great, well, if we don't win and you don't supply me with the players I need, can you get fired too?
Yeah, there you go. Oh, that would be the perfect contract clause.
And he thinks he's doing well.
He's not.
Jeff's
He's not
got
doing
the stats.
well.
He has the stats. 1997. What is it, Jeff? 144 and 145, and you got a Romo quarterback who's,
great.
who's 14 and 21 in the month of December as a starting quarterback of the Cowboys.
Josh, I don't have any teacher to appreciate, so why would I care about that statement? It's National Appreciate Your Teacher Day.
Appreciate his teacher today.
What teacher does he have?
His math teacher.
So wait a minute. Does this mean that in Dallas, Jerry Jones is the teacher?
He ain't
and
teaching.
You're supposed to bow down.
He ain't teaching nothing in Dallas. I'll tell you. You know what he's teaching them? He's teaching them how to be mediocre.
Oh, absolutely. He's turned them from America's team to
into
America's
mediocrity.
jokers and America's chokers.
He turned that team into mediocrity because that's what they are.
What happens if he opens his mouth again and he says in the summer, he says, great expectations for the Cowboys. We have a very good chance to win the Super Bowl.
I hope he does. I hope he does.
He's only proud of that stadium. He really is.
I hope he does because he ain't going to make the playoffs again.
Remember, Jeff, he was Rat Bastard of the Week one time. Remember that? When Dallas had the Super Bowl and they hosted it, and Jerry Jones we got on him because of all the stuff with the other people, with the seating arrangements.
The seating capacity, yeah.
Yes,
the Packers,
remember that.
Hey, let me ask you this. Just because of who Jerry Jones is, I don't think, and I know the stadium is huge, and it's state-of-the-art and all of that, but I don't think the NFL should award Dallas another Super Bowl.
No, I don't think so either.
No, Jerry Jones, he'll battle it. He'll say, look, we did a great job with the stadium. We fixed it up neatly. Let's host another Super Bowl in Dallas with my Cowboys hosting it.
I would give Ethiopia a Super Bowl before I give Dallas a Super Bowl again.
Hey, on that note, we're getting the flock out of here. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us today. We really appreciate it. We'll be back again tomorrow for another fun-filled 2 hours, so join us then. I believe in tomorrow's show, in the second half of the show, we got Sports World Radio's hockey guru, Ron Gallo, joining us, so we'll get a lot of hockey talk in tomorrow for that. So join us for that. Until then, my friends, remember, you only have one life to live. Live it long, live it strong, and live it proud. And please don't forget, life may suck, but the alternative is unacceptable.
Amen.
For Frank Sprankle, Sean Mann, I'm Jeff Escal. This has been Sports World Radio. Peace out, bitches.
Adios.
Hey, boy, Stimpy. We sure had fun today, kid. So long, kids. Come on, Stimpy, say goodbye.
Where are we going?
The show's over. See you next time.
Next time? When's that?
Pretty soon.